Okay, I love Pokemon as much as the next girl, but I already did this intro beating Champion Blue with level 2 Pokemon. Whatever, hi, I'm Lightheart II, and I think that bag items are completely broken. And to prove this, I will be beating the entire Pokemon Red Elite Four with a legal Little Cup team. But what Pokemon are legal in Gen 1 Little Cup? Great question. According to Smogon, Little Cup is a format in which players may only use level 5 Pokemon that have to be not yet evolved. Due to the lack of breeding in RBY, certain glitches in RBY are allowed to give Pokemon access to their entire level up move pool, as well as permitting Pokemon like the otherwise unobtainable level 5 Clefairy to be used. RBY moves only obtainable in GSC, such as Ice Punch Abra, are disallowed. I don't actually know what these glitches are, maybe that's a good follow-up video when I figure it out, but basically it seems like you can trick the game into setting a Pokemon's level to whatever you want. So I will be taking a team which is legal under this rule set and using it to beat Pokemon Red's Indigo League by exploiting a bit of Gen 1 nonsense. Got it? Good. As you can tell from the video I've been playing, first up is Lorelei. She leads Dewgong as I lead Bubbles the Bulbasaur, but Bubbles instantly falls to an Aurora Beam. But it's fine. I have a normal amount of revives. But if you watched the previous video, you will remember why this works. The AI in Gen 1 is quite random and you can get free turns to exploit mistakes this way. Although you can't run them out of PP because in Gen 1 enemy trainers don't have PP. But in Gen 1 the Elite Four has a few tricks which I didn't have to deal with last time. Like for example, once I finally land a Toxic with EP the Abra, that in and of itself isn't the winning play. This is because Dewgong knows Rest, which heals off the Toxic. But Rest also puts Dewgong to sleep, so I can switch back to Bubbles to land a Leech Seed, then send an EP and switch between them and Order 66 the Execute, who resists Psychic, meaning that Dewgong won't use Rest again and I can finally finish them off a few turns later. Yes, that's how the Gen 1 AI works. Order 66 is weak to Ice, so Dewgong can only waste a turn on EP, and toxic damage doesn't apply if you take a knockout, but still. Next up is Cloyster, who is a giant pain. This is because the only moves that can fail that they know are Supersonic and Clamp, and I have no way to bait them. I probably should have included a water type on my team, but too late. Heck, my only fully neutrally typed Pokemon versus this Cloyster's moveset are EP and Roly-Poly the Voltorb. And I fail a Toxic so many times I have to waste a lot of free turns on just healing my team. But eventually Cloyster gets hit with a Toxic, and that's the point of this video. Spamming revives will always eventually work if you know what you're doing. This is extra OP when you can use accuracy lowering moves like Sand Attack or Flash. After Cloyster, next is Slowbro, who can't actually hit poison types due to the bad AI forcing them to spam Amnesia, so that's a free kill for Bubbles. After that is Jenks, who knows Thrash, and something I didn't know is that in Gen 1, missing a Thrash doesn't end your thrashing about, so I just need to wait for Jenks to use Thrash and send in Technoblade the Ghastly and land a Toxic, and then I just get several free turns. And a Confusion once the Thrash is over. So last is Lapras. Lapras is forced to use Confuse Ray versus Technoblade, since it's a volatile status condition, and the AI only checks for non-volatile status conditions in Gen 1, so it can't tell if you're already confused or not. So a Toxic is super free once I break through the confusion. And that's Lapras defeated. Next up is Bruno. He leads Onix as I lead Bubbles again. The trick here is to wait for Onix to use Rage. Unlike in Gen 2 where Rage is good in the early game, the move in Gen 1 is terrible. This is because you have no choice but to use Rage forever after using it once. So as soon as Onix hits a Rage, I switch to Technoblade and poison them to death. Hitmontop knows Counter, which fails because I'm not using any attacking moves, so a Toxic on them is free too. Hitmonlee can't hit Technoblade, Onix is the same as last time, and Machamp can only hit Technoblade with Fissure, which isn't very accurate. Next up is Agatha, who is a massive pain. She leads Gengar as I lead Bubbles. I basically just need to wait for her to fail a status move into either Bubbles or Order 66. This takes forever as I can't land a Toxic to abuse the Toxic Leech Seed glitch because her team is all poison types. And Gengar can switch to Golbat, who knows Haze, which can end Leech Seed, and is encouraged to use it versus Grass types because Grass is weak to Ice. Gen 1 AI looping back around to being smart somehow. The only permanent debuff I can hit them with is Thunder Wave, since Haze only removes your opponent's status in Gen 1, not your own. Oh, and Gengar can heal with Dream Eater if I don't switch after a Hypnosis. Really not fun stuff. But after forever of Leech Seed, Nightshade, Potion, Switch, Haze, etc., I finally take out Gengar, and have to do the same thing to Haunter and Golbat. Because of Golbat's Haze, Haunter actually goes down first, so then I also have to fight Arbok, although they can't do much to Technoblade. This means that Arbok actually goes down before I finally kill the stupid Golbat, but Last is Gengar, who knows Toxic instead of Hypnosis, so once I land a Leech Seed, it's a pretty free win with my poison types, who bait Dream Eater but can't be put to sleep. Last for the Elite Four is Lance. He leads Gyarados as I still lead Bubbles. This is a pretty standard fight for this video. I just need to wait for him to waste enough turns on Missus or Leer to land and take it out with a Toxic and Leech Seed. And then there's his two Dragonair, Aerodactyl, and Dragonite, who can't hit Technoblade. His Dragonairs do know Dragon Rage, but the AI forces them to use Agility because haha, Poison is weak to Psychic, aren't I clever? Basically, it's a free win. Use Ghastly in Pokemon Red, it's really OP. Last is Blue. I basically already did this fight in my previous video, but I'll recap anyway. Oh, and if you watched the video this far, you probably enjoyed it at least a little, right? If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as it'll really make my day. But whatever, Blue leads Pidgeot as I lead Bubbles. Pidgeot knows Sky Attack, which is great because it's a 2-turn move and baited by Bubbles' grass typing, so a Toxic and Leech Seed are both free, and Pidgeot falls eventually. Next up is Alakazam, who knows both Reflect and Recover, so after a bit of patience I land a Toxic, and though they try to delay the inevitable with Recover, I eventually take them out. Next is Rhydon, who can't hit Technoblade, Executor also can't hit Technoblade, I already explained how to beat a Gyarados, and Charizard knows Rage, so once Blue clicks that, he's doomed, and I'm the champion of Kanto despite using a legal Little Cup team. Well, that was fun. If you think I'm going to run out of ways to prove bag items are broken, you're wrong. In fact, I already have something quite interesting planned for the next video in this series, and this time it doesn't use revives. The previous video is linked in the description if you want to see how I beat Blue with only level 2 Route 1 Pokemon, and if you want to see the next video when it's done, please feel free to like and subscribe, and always remember, Pokemon is pay to win, except that it's pay to win with in-game money, as with only 163 revives, you can do anything. 163 is a prime number, by the way.